Okay. Hello. Hi guys. Hi guys. How are you? Just let me know if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. We're about to get started right now. Right now. I think you can hear me right now. Okay. I think you can. So, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Just let me know you're here. Henry, Grace, Peter, Juliet, Judith, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. Good, good, good. Let me see. You're all very, very welcome. Good. We'll start with whoever is here. First of all, I want to welcome you on this webinar. It is titled Burgeons, and you get to discover what that is all about. But to put it in simple terms, it's practical strategies for thriving through and beyond disruption. So, just a couple of things. We'll have two times where we'll do the polls twice, and then we'll have two times where I'll be taking your questions. But for now, you're all on mute, but you can leave your questions in the comment section. There'll be someone to take care of that. So with that said, I think let's get started. So let me just introduce myself. My name is Sudesh Kaka, and I'm from Sudesh International Consult, where we help companies create clarity through organizational design and creative confidence. And those are our capabilities. So that is who I am. Been doing this for about 9 years right now, and I'm fully passionate about the subject of innovation and everything that goes with it, design and all those things, service design and product design, any of that stuff. Okay, and first I want to thank our sponsors of this webinar, KTA Advocates. This is their learning hour, but they made it available to everyone so that you can benefit. KTA is an international financial law review recommended premier intellectual and technology East African-based law firm with an established regional footprint in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Zanzibar, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan. But most importantly, they're into the work of innovative service that nurtures relationships and impacts lives. That informs why they are doing this. So, KTA, thank you so much, and for having this, and I'm sure the rest are going to benefit. So here is what you can expect on the webinar. I'll give you a tool to put everything that is going on in context. Now, there are so many webinars that are telling you do this, do that. But the reason we did this is to give you a practical view of something. We're always looking at the practicability of things, not just the theory, but the practicability. So you should walk away with a plan of what to do as an individual, as a firm, as a company, and absolutely, it should create some creative confidence. I'll get to answer a few of your questions, and then at the end, I'll have a few offers for you. They are absolutely brilliant. So, with that said, let's start. Let's get into the things that we want to get into, and I'm going to first define a few things, a few key terms that I'll be using, that I'll be alluding to throughout the presentation. And the first one is burgeon. Okay, to burgeon is to grow and expand rapidly. Okay, that's why that now tells you why we call this burgeon. To burgeon is to grow and expand rapidly. There are people that are thriving right now, and there are people that are failing. Okay. And it's about how you interpret what is going on and how you position yourself to succeed. The other term that I'll be alluding to a lot is this term called strategy. What is strategy? Strategy is the route you intend to take and the methods you intend to use to get to a specific top of a mountain. Let's say I'm flying to Nairobi from Kampala right now. What means am I using if I'm flying there? Okay, I can decide to use a plane. I can decide to fly there. I can decide to fly, I can decide to run, and I can decide to walk. Okay. And in case I get a detour, I can turn around and move to another place. So that is what a strategy is. Now, before we continue, please, I'm getting lots of messages here and I cannot handle them. Please tell the people that are trying to get on, let them use the link that is in their email that came 15 minutes ago. Okay, so that is what strategy is, and I'll be alluding to that a lot. And then the other one is disruption. Okay, disruption is a temporary convergence of natural currents to test tradition and force change. So I'll be alluding to those three words a lot: burgeon, strategy, and disruption. But before we go any further, I would like to open up a poll right now, and you can answer these polls in two categories. Okay. One is you as an individual, and the other one is for you as a business. So I'll open up this poll for about 30 seconds. Yes, and let me publish it right now. Okay, the poll is open right now, so please feel free to use it. The poll is open right now. I'm about to close it. The poll. Okay. This is interesting from where I am. This is like watching election results come in. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. So the question was, let me end the poll right now. The question was, did you have a personal strategy stroke plan for 2020 before COVID-19 hit? And 83% of you said yes, 16% of you said no. Okay, so that puts you in a good place. Now, for the people that own businesses, this one is for you. So if you don't own a business, you don't own a farm, if you're not a partner, this is not for you. Let me also run this this poll and see. Okay, I've opened it right now. In case you own a business or a farm, just feel free to take part in that. Okay, this is for those of you that are into leadership. Does your farm business have a rapid response strategy? Okay, if you're not sure, just click on not sure. Okay. Let me publish it right now. Sorry. Okay, I've made it public. You should see it right now. It should be on your screens right now. In case you own a business, just let me know whether you. Okay. Good. The results are coming in. Let me give it another couple of seconds to see. Does your farm business have a rapid response strategy? A rapid response strategy is, something hits like COVID, and you know how you're going to navigate through for the next 6 to 18 months. Does your company have that? Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm closing the poll right now, and this is very interesting. 77% of you said you're not sure whether your farm or company has a rapid response strategy. 16% of you said no, and none of you said yes. Okay, so thank you so much again for taking part in this. Now, what this tells me is that we are used to run with things, and we expect yesterday. We expect today to be like yesterday. Okay, so I'll end this poll right now and get back to our slides. Okay, so what you're telling me is that we expect yesterday to be like today, and because of that, we rarely have a rapid response unit, and that's why this is very important. Now, starting from where I stopped by talking about disruption. Disruption is a temporary convergence of natural currents to test tradition and force change. Okay, and what has happened right now has happened before. Okay, I like what it's like what Solomon says in the Bible, that that which has been, which will be, and that which has been done is that which will be again. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, there's been pandemics in the world before. Okay, there's been pandemics in the world before, and they will happen again. So like you see this one, if you can follow me, it's hit out in North America, in Africa. So the things have happened before. Okay, so it's about, and people have overcome them. So that's why we need to put everything in context. I like this story of Albert Einstein, where he's he's lecturing students in physics, and for the first year he gives them an exam, and he gives them the same questions, and in the second year he gives them the same questions, and one of the students puts up their hand and says, "Hello, sir, these are the same questions," and he says, "Questions are the same, but the context has changed." Guess what? Disruption has always happened, but the context has changed, and it's up to us now in this context to ask great questions, not good questions, because good questions inform, but great questions transform, and that's why we are on this call. Okay, so I want you to have this at the back of your mind. Yes, history repeats itself, but the context changes. Okay, and we're going to look at that context. We're going to look at the questions that are going to bring you transformation, whether you are an individual or you are a company. And examples of disruptions. Examples of disruptions are pandemics like COVID-19, terrorist attacks, hurricanes, a sudden loss of a job, death of a loved one, a bank freezing your accounts, a sudden change in customer needs or behaviors. Those are all disruptions, okay? And they will happen. They will go on, and you just have to know how to navigate them, okay? And usually what happens during this time when there's a disruption, now like a pandemic, is that you're getting lots of information. Okay, there are lots of information that are coming in, and there are three types of information that you should be aware of. The first one is what we call transfer, information by transfer. The second one is information by confusion, and the third one is information by trigger. Okay, let me just go to information by confusion. Information by confusion is when you're presented with a mess and you're expected to make sense out of it. Okay, and the person that is communicating is assuming that you have that you have the right tools to make sense of that information, and the patterns that you extract therein are dependent entirely on you. Okay, the government comes up with this thing and they say, you know what, we're going to close this and we're going to close this, and then they say 32 days, and after they say 14 days, and after they are saying 21 days, and after they are locking down this and they are saying this, and they say getting at 7, now stop moving at 2, now stop, now getting at 7, now come out on your verandas, now don't come out on your verandas, now do this, now do that. There's a lot of information that is going on, and you need to make sense. That's why disruption is there. Even some governments don't know what to do, okay? And to make sense of a disruption, you should be aware of 3 things. Number 1, every disruption has resources, enablers, and consequences. Okay? A resource here in the case of COVID-19, a resource is the germ, okay, the virus that is moving around like so, okay? And the enablers, you have things like the transportation, okay, that has been closed, people gathering in one place, the weather, the groups, the pressure groups like World Health Organizations, the governments, all those are enablers. The media has done a great job on enabling this. And of course, the consequence of every disruption is that individuals, organizations, churches, education, businesses, they are all called to change. And at that point, you are required to change, okay? And so that is something I want you to be aware of. Now, you might say, what authority do you have to actually talk about disruptions? Let me tell you a few disruptions that I've been through. In 2016, I was fired from a job that I'd taken because of certain things, and I told myself I'll never be fired again. And in 2008, I had started a company, and I was hit by a fuel crisis. I lost 50 million in one day. Believe me, that is worse than you being locked up in a house for 21 days. Nothing compares to that. That is a disruption. And of course, 2019 to 2011, I ventured into different businesses, including stationery, agriculture, real estate, and consulting. In 2011, started Sudesh International Consult. 2014, my lovely daughter Chichi Sudesh was born. 2014 to 2016, I temporarily closed Sudesh International Consult to go and learn everything that I'm doing right now. Of course, learning never ends, but I discovered that what I had back then was not working. And then 2016, we reopened Sudesh International as a training and coaching company. And from 2018 up to now, we've been focusing on running this organization as a design and innovation company. That's the direction we've been moving to, because we saw some of the things changing in the industry and we wanted to be ahead. So if you talk about disruption, yes, I've not been through a pandemic like most of you, but some of us have been through disruptions, and we've seen the enablers, we've seen the resources, and we've seen the consequences. Okay, so that's what qualifies me. Now, there are other people. I'm not the only one that has been through this. This guy is called Elon Musk, and Elon Musk, in 2008, when the world was crumbling, Tesla was struggling near. They almost lost all the money that they had, and in 2009, he managed to raise 465 million shillings. And to cut the long story short, the company went IPO, and it's one of the biggest companies right now. He's one of the best entrepreneurs of our time world over. So you can see that this guy has also navigated those waters. And the last person that I want to share is a gentleman called Lawrence. Lawrence has been my dance coach for quite a while, right? Years ago, as he also worked as an IT specialist. And when COVID-19 hit, he found himself back at home seated, because it was if you're in a dance class, you go to a hotel, you go to a bar and you dance and he trains you face to face. Okay. Now he wasn't seeing the people. And we sat down, we said, okay, now we need a rapid response unit. And what we've done is that he's managed to entirely dependent on trust. What he will do is that he will advertise, okay? And when you sign up, he'll send you a tutorial, you train yourself, he also sends you the music, and then after that, you send the recording back to him. He corrects you, he shows you via video, and then he endorses it, okay? And you can see that for him, it's hard to change. Okay. So whether you're a one-man business, whether you're an employee, whether you're like Elon Musk, or whether you're like me, you know, all what disruption calls of us is this one thing that is called change. Okay. We are all required to change, whether it's an economic collapse, whether it's a loss of a loved one, whether you lose your job suddenly during this time, which might happen. Some of it has actually started happening, or whether you're now working from home and you're used to being in office. We are all called to embrace the thing called change. But you and I know that most people find it very hard to change. Okay, they know they should change, they know they want to change, but for some reason they don't change. And they'll give all kinds of reasons, like the ones that you're seeing there. Some will say, you know what, I'm just too full of emotions and fear to think about this whole thing right now. The world is about to end, blah, 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 blah. And there are people that know that the world is ending like tomorrow. So they're saying, why should I have a plan if the world is going to end tomorrow? And then some of them are saying, you know what, this whole thing has come as a big shock. Please give me some time to take it all in. Okay. And then some are saying, you know what, I'm actually scared. I'm scared of the transition, not the idea of change. Like, what is life going to be after? How shall we go back to work? Are they going to cut our salaries? How are we going to run these companies moving forward? Okay. Some of them are saying, I don't know how big a deal this change really is. Some of them are, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories about World Health Organization, the government, the vaccine, the blah, 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 blah. There's a lot that is going on, okay? So there's a lot that you need to navigate. And then I don't see how to fit into any of these. Some of you are like, Fituli Bantuba 1C. For those of you that are watching it from Canada and Blantyre, Bantuba 1C means an ordinary citizen, okay? And then some of them say, I feel like I have no say in what happens. Some of you are seated at home and all you're waiting for is your boss to tell you what to do. Now send the invoice, call this client, do this, do that, do this, do that, okay? And you're not taking it as a personal responsibility and initiative for you to change. And others are saying, you know what, I'm fed up with the funny change that goes nowhere. So what? This thing will come, it will go. Let me just wait it out. Okay. So those are some of the few excuses that that some people give that are not very comfortable with change. And there are those that are saying, you know what, bring it on. Just bring on the change and we'll just walk through it. Regardless of where you are, I think we can make a shift. For those that are embracing change, you're going to have tools that are going to help you change better. For those that fear change, it's saying that my people are lost because of lack of knowledge. Now that you know the truth is going to set you free. So I got you all covered, okay? So having said that, what I'm about to show you is very simple, okay? There's a simpler way of navigating everything that is happening, but you have to put effort into it. Simplicity doesn't just happen, okay? You have to put effort into it, and I'm here to facilitate you to do that, okay? So I hope you are ready to do that. So, okay, and so please, before I continue, please drop the questions in the chat. I'll be able to answer them twice on this call. So just keep your questions coming in. Just put them there. I can see we have quite a large number of people. Amazing. Okay, so just put your questions there, and I'll be able to answer them twice on this call. Now, when it comes to you having a strategy and embracing change as a result of disruption that forces you to change and challenges your tradition, there are two people that are affected. Okay, you have the individual. Okay, and this individual could be an employee, you could be someone that is self-employed, or you're an employer, but there's this side person, there's the individual part of you, and then you have the companies where we work. Okay, so we'll start with the individual. As an individual, what reality are you dealing with right now? And the first thing that you're dealing with is this illusion of job security. Job security just shifted. Job security is no longer about where you work and what you do. Job security for you is the value you bring on board, because you are about to be paid based on the value that you bring and not just the contracts that you have. Okay, and then the other thing that you're dealing with is this thing of essential and non-essential skills right now. What are the essential skills right now? Yes, you have regardless of what you do, whether you're a lawyer, you're a consultant, you are a student, there are those essential skills you have as a person. You're in e-commerce, there are those essential skills you have, let's say in legal, in accounts. Those are essentials. Those are essential skills. But on those essential skills, you must add other essential skills. Okay, like I'll be covering in the times to come. Things like collaboration, things like embracing the technology, and there are some non-essential skills that you have right now. If you are a receptionist and you know how to welcome people, and right now you're working at home, that is a non-essential skill right now. If you're a secretary, whatever you've been doing has just become non-essential, especially during this lockdown. So there's this thing of essential and non-essential skills. And then the other thing that you are dealing with as an individual is embracing a new way of thinking. The thinking that got you here is not the thinking that is going to get you there. There are things that have been disrupted and they will never be the same. Some things are going to be the same. So you are dealing with all this stuff. And then let's put some structure around it. Every time there's a disruption, you're looking at three types of changes. Okay, you're looking at the temporary change that might stick. Okay, we are seeing conferences and meetings being done online, like what we are doing right now. That might be temporary, but I'm suspecting it's going to stick. And then the habits, some of you are going to get used to, might just have to get used to the habits of working remotely, traveling less, okay? And then one of the system-wide changes that you have to get used to is the thing of the entrepreneurial model. The entrepreneurial model means that you are no longer an employee right now. If your company decides you to pay you based on the value that you bring, you've become a self-employed person. That means that you have to have self-discipline and you have to be thinking like an entrepreneur. You have to be thinking about the system. The people that do coding, they don't just build an app. They look at the environment in which that app is going to work. How is the user interface is going to be? How is the user interface going to be? Is it going to work on iOS or Windows? All those things. Okay, so you're looking at three things for you. What are some of those temporary changes that might stick? I've just given you a few examples here, but you can feel free to include or let me know what you think will be included in this. And of course, we're going to see, I think we're going to see a liberalization of social security. It's not going to be only NSSF handling social security. That creates an opportunity for you to do so many things as an individual, okay? So, still putting a lot of structure to everything that is going on as you as an individual, as an employee, someone that is self-employed, and an employer that is also an individual. There are three plans that you need to have. You need to preserve the present. You need a rapid response plan that is between 6 and 18 months. Okay, we've seen in Botswana the economy has been, they've been locked down for the next 6 months. Okay, so you need a plan, and that is you need a plan that is between 6 to 8 months. That is a rapid response. Okay, and you need to also own your future. I've already said it, and I'll say it again, that your employer is not responsible. Your employer is responsible for how much they pay you, but you're responsible for how much you earn. You need to embrace this whole thinking that the future is in your hands. It's not in the hands of your employer. Okay. And putting more flesh on these plans. Okay. And please be working on your plans. I hope you have your pen, you have your paper, and you're doing all this stuff as I'm speaking. So when we talk about preserving the present, we are talking about survival, okay? And survival, under that, you could be, these are just my suggestions. You taking care of your health and your family. It's very important for you to take care of your health, okay? It won't make sense if after 6 months or after a year, we come out of this thing and then you're sick, and then you have to spend all the money that you've been saving on health bills. So it's not that is not cool enough. So take care of yourself, and then develop mental toughness. Some of you say, mental health, what? Yeah, develop mental toughness. You won't be able to get depressed and all these things. We can show you how to do that, and then have a plan to serve your clients remotely. And then you should have a success plan, and this is a rapid response plan that gives you success, like finding complementary sources of income besides your salary. Okay, right now most companies are strapped for cash. Apart from the government and NGOs, most companies are strapped for cash, and they're going to be looking at austerity measures, and some of them might be taking pay cuts. We've seen pay cuts in the sports industry in the UK, world over. We've seen the governments doing pay cuts, so it's going to happen. Okay, how are you going to complement so that you live your desired life, your kids continue going to those schools, and then name the things that have changed for you. Okay, is it working remotely, so you need to redesign your house to incorporate a home office? Okay, and deploy your capability, and then automate things, like put things into action. So what is that rapid response plan that you have as an individual? And then on the fulfillment part, this is 5 years plus. There you should be thinking about aligning what you're doing to the future. If what you're doing right now does not take you to where you want to go 5 years from now, why are you doing it? Some people say life is short. Yes, you're not going to have a lot of time. So please align. Okay. So that is on the part of the individual. So I'll take your questions right now. And okay, let me see the questions that are coming in. Let me see. Good. Moses is saying, what should be the priorities for business leaders to ensure business survival? I'm going to handle that in the next part. And then, okay. Any questions? Okay. Looks like there's no question. I think you are doing incredibly well. So we'll just continue with, just let me know that you're having fun, you're enjoying this, and you're learning something. Thanks for the comments. Edgar, yes, I'm running. I said running this organization. Okay, let's go back. So thus far, I've talked about the individual. I've put things in context of the things that you are faced with as an individual, as an employee, as a self-employed person. Okay, and I've also put them in context in terms of temporary things that might change, the habits that might change for you, and the system-wide changes that you might have to embrace. Okay. And also, I've given you a plan that you need 3 terms of plans. You need a survival plan, you need a success plan, okay? that is from 6 to 18 months, and you also need to own your future. Okay, so having said that, now let's go to the organizations. Okay, let's go to the organizations and what are organizations dealing with right now. Okay, and while companies have rushed to address the coronavirus threat itself, far fewer, okay, have taken the next step, which is understanding and addressing the impending demand shock as revenues fall and recession takes hold. There is no more important action for your business than having a business preservation plan. And that is that is to answer what you've been asking, Moses, on the question in your question, that how can businesses survive? I think they need a business preservation plan. There's no way about it. Okay, and one of the things that you should do immediately, I think most of you that own businesses have already done this before, having a response COVID-19 response team. Okay, picking a great leader. This is not time to bullshit. If the leader that you have does not deliver on the results that you need to be delivered, get a strong leader. We need strong leadership. We're seeing economies fall apart because they do not have strong leadership. You need a strong leader in your company. You need to create an action team. Let me tell you, if you're going to Nairobi right now and the plane, God forbid, the plane falls into Lake Victoria and then you manage to survive, will you continue waiting for another plane? No, you have to continue. You have to think about means of getting to Nairobi. Right now, if you're part of a company, if you're a business leader, if you're a one-man army, it only makes sense for you to sit back and think about what you're thinking about, to create an action team. It makes sense for you to think about the next 6 to 18 months, to think about what you're doing, to think about the new markets. You can set up a war room. We have a war room with my colleague Henry that is here. We on call. We do this. We do that. We are looking at the trends. We are looking at that. So you can set up a war room, and you don't have to meet at anyone's place. You can do it remotely. Okay. If you don't have a seasoned resources that know how to address financial distress, hire them. Accountants, people that are in finance, now is your time to shine. Now is your time to help the companies that you're working with work with strict financial regimes, knowing what the priorities are. It's not time to bullshit around. It's time to get to work and employ those resources. And by the way, it's not just about cutting costs. No, it's more than that. Okay. And then the other thing that you should be doing as a company is to spend money on developing a crisis plan. Okay? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The reason why some people make it more than others is because they have the skills. They know how to navigate this. Okay? At Suresh International, we've been doing this, and we've been doing it for individuals and companies, and we know how to navigate. Disruption. Okay, so the best money that you can spend right now is creating a crisis plan. It's the equivalent of an N95 mask. So those are the things that you should be doing. Now, as a company, there are also other things that you should be looking at, and of course, the things that I've talked about all fall under the survival plan as a company. But the other thing that I would like to add on is please be kind. Okay. Be kind to the service providers, be kind to the employees, be kind to yourselves, be kind to the stakeholders. This is the time to practice empathy. Okay, this is the time to practice empathy because everyone is figuring out what to do. And then under your rapid response system. Of course, these are just pointers, but there's more that we get to do when we work with you. So under the rapid response plan, you need to start eliminating non-essentials. What are those trainings that you don't need to have? What are those travels that you do not necessarily need to have that you had put? And also you need to have a system to embrace uncertainty. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insane. Okay, You've been disrupted, but you are sitting around and waiting for the world to return back to normal the way it has been. Newsflash, it's not going to return to the way it has been, okay? In the 1930s, there was an economic meltdown, and that gave birth to business plans. Okay, the whole thing of business plans. Banks saying, you know what, we're not going to give anyone credit that doesn't have a business plan. Okay, and we've had the bombings in New York City have changed the way we travel. Right now, getting liquids on a plane is hard. Security has totally changed. With the economic meltdown of 2008, we've seen so many tech companies that have come into the market. Now, 2020, we have this COVID thing. It's going to change. You need to see how to revise business models. You've seen like what Lawrence did. There are things that are going to have to change. We won't walk into your legal office demanding for certain services. Those need to be automated. And then you should be also thinking about fulfillment. Guess what? The pandemic will end. Okay? The one in the 1950s took a year, but it's ended. And it's going to end. But you need to be thinking about the future. What are we going to do? How are we placing ourselves in the market? Are we doing the right thing to make sure that we are getting to our desired end? So that is what you can do as a company. Okay. Now, the other thing that you must do as a company is to take a clear, like, evaluate yourself. Okay. This is if you look at this, it shows you how to evaluate your portfolio. Okay. Let's say for us as Sudesh International, some of our declining aspects of our business here, things like live training, it's going to be long, since it's going to be a long time before we step back in a hotel or be away on a resort doing a training. Things like team building, all things are declining, they're going to die. And then, how mature is, the culture transformation. And then we're looking at things like online training is a high growth thing for us that we are thinking about right now. And also AI can fall under that. Okay. For legal firms, for declining, I think you have things like simple contracts are declining, company registration, all of things should be here, and those are things that they should be automating. Yeah. Then of course litigation will change, but might not change so much. So that is something that is predictable. Now let me give you a few things about each. For something to be declining, it needs low investment and it can be easily duplicated. For something to be mature, it is stable and predictable. Okay. And it's very hard for you to take market leadership in that. Okay. And then for something to be emerging, it's something that will bring in new wealth, but about 3 years from now. Okay. And for farms, that might be AI and all those things. Okay. And for still legal firms here, you have the technology. Okay. And also IP that is under there. And of course, depending on what industry you're in, let's say e-commerce. E-commerce is the delivery kind of model and the whole supply chain kind of thing. Those are things that are now predictable for them. Okay, they are predictable, and it's hard to take market leadership in them if you did not go there first. But also, we are seeing a new trend in e-commerce emerging here of e-commerce being an all like a one-stop center. Okay, you cannot just afford to sell me a TV. I need a TV, I need carrots, but at the same time, I need a car and I need fuel. I need a battery for my Tesla. Okay, And of course, they need to robots and the whole AI thing is emerging for them. So as a company, you need to take close look at all the things that you are doing. Okay, like do a situation analysis and say, okay, are we spending a lot of time in the declining? Are we spending a lot of time here? Are we spending a lot of time there? Are we spending a lot of time here? Of course, the money is made in high growth and mature. But for most of you, the mature parts of your businesses have been closed because most of them depend on brick and mortar. Okay. Like for legal firms, litigation has closed because it majorly depends on brick and mortar. So now you have to look at optimizing that and also do a little bit of this. Okay. So that is what you can do in your 6 to 8 months. Look at what are those high growth areas and what are those mature areas that we can work on during this time, and where should we invest our money where we'll get a return. Okay, so you're looking at that, and then the other thing that I want to show you, of course, is what is happening right now calls for innovation, but most people most people wait for something to happen and then they take a step. Okay, rather than actually being ahead of time and looking for opportunities. Innovation does two things: it solves problems, but it also creates opportunities. Now, this is to help you map innovation opportunities and which one you can take on, which ones you can't take on. Let me just use an example. I'll show you examples in each. Let's start with the routine innovations that you might need to focus on. Okay, you need to have an innovation portfolio. Okay, and before I even go into this, I've been doing a research for a very long time, and I've wanted to talk about this for a very long time because we actually do it at Sudesh International, but we've not been able to roll it out to our clients because I felt like the time wasn't right. And that thing is to have two strategies, okay? To have what we call a committed strategy. That is a strategy that's going to say, you know what, we're going to make $10 million worth of revenue. We're going to occupy this place in the market. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That is what we call a committed strategy. But there's also what they call an aspirational strategy. An aspirational strategy is a strategy that you have in case things go wrong. How are we going to, it's dependent on situation analysis. In case the market shuts down, what are we going to do? In case this employee leaves, this key employee leaves at the other one, what are we going to do? So companies like Google run with two sets of strategies. They have what they call a committed strategy and an aspirational strategy. And when we start working on your rapid response, those are the two things that we work on. It's no longer time to run with just a committed strategy where you're just looking at making a certain amount of money. You need to embrace another set of strategy, which is aspirational. And what is going to inform that aspirational strategy is you mapping your innovation opportunities. Okay, and let's begin with let's say the routine innovations for you. The routine innovations for you, they leverage on existing competencies, and they also leverage on existing business models. Like right now, working remotely is a routine innovation. Having a webinar like this one is a routine innovation because you already you're leveraging on existing competencies. You have an IT competence. You already have a model that can allow you to work from home. And also, another routine thing is, let's say, safe border delivering food. They already have motorbikes taking people and delivering luggage and what, and now they deliver food. They are piggybacking on an existing business model. Okay, now let's look at the radical. The radical involves you to acquire new competencies and leverage on existing business models. Okay, that is radical. Things like electric cars. Okay, You need a new competence because they work on lithium and all these things. There's a new competence that you need, not only in terms of design, but also in the way you leverage your existing business model. Okay, how are people going to pay? Blah 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 blah. Okay, so electric cars would fall into radical, and then under architecture, where you require a new business model and new competencies, you have things like personalized medicine, telemedicine. Right now it is dangerous to go to a hospital if you're just going for a checkup. So that is an architectural thing, that an architectural form of medicine called telemedicine that we're about to see. And of course, if this was Kodak, this would be Kodak going digital. Okay. And then, of course, disruption that many of you like to talk about. This would be kind of what Uber did and what Safe Border did in their industries. Okay, so those are the things. Okay, now you need to balance your portfolio. You need to balance your portfolio because if you spend all your money in disruptive, this takes some time and it might not give you immediate money. But once it starts to make the money, it will make you a lot of money. Airbnb started making money after 7 years. Uber, as far as I know, it hasn't even started making a profit. Okay, so disruption takes quite some time. So you need to know, you need to balance your portfolio, not only and know how much risk you can take, and how you can adjust to any of the things. So those are things that the companies need to do. So right now, I'll go back to taking your questions. Let me see. The first question says, in adapting and embracing ICT for purposes of business continuity in these times, how do businesses that handle sensitive information, law firms, maintain confidentiality, the confidentiality aspect involved with fiduciary relationships? Man, lawyers have English. Also, how do we maintain the connection with clients that haven't yet or refuse to embrace IT in their operation? So this is a two-pronged question. I'll answer the second part first. How do we deal with how do you deal with clients that refuse to embrace ICT as a means of operation? I think you need to be empathetic towards them and understand why aren't they changing. You remember the 7 reasons that I gave you why people resist change. Find out, have a conversation with them, send them a survey, ask them where is the challenge. And I think this is where law firms have to do more than law, especially like KTA that specializes in tech. You have to assist some of your clients on how to navigate technology. Do videos and teach them how to use the cloud and store their things, how to share their files, how to encrypt everything that they do. So I think you have to do those things. Be empathetic, know the root of why they are not responding, and then address it, okay? And do more than what you've been doing. And then the other part is how do businesses that handle sensitive information like law firms maintain the confidentiality aspect involved in the fiduciary relationships? Now, the way this has to happen, I think what this has done is that it has accelerated blockchain. There's just no way. You have to embrace blockchain and in everything that you do as a law firm, because you share confidential information. But also, I think the people in you can contact the people in KTA. I think they know the technicalities of this on safeguarding clients, sending them information on how they can safeguard themselves during this time. Then another question here is, how do you motivate teams during this period? Very important, very important question. Good. Now, I would say the best way to motivate your teams during this time is not to motivate them. Oh man, what are you talking about? No, the best way to motivate people is, everyone has a, that's what motivation comes from, the word motive. Everyone has a motive and a reason why they do the things that they do. Okay, like there are six basic needs that why people work. Okay, some of them are looking for security that has been totally injured. Some of them are looking for variety. Those are looking for variety, having a lot of it. Some of them are looking for significance. Some of them are looking for love. Some of them are looking for contribution, and others. So this is a time to engage them and understand and bring them on board. Uh, have those, get into war rooms and just brainstorm and say, guys, okay, what is our priority right now? I think the most important thing that you're going to have to do is, number one, to get to have a priority. I was speaking to an MD of a company that employs about 800 people. They've had to lay off over 100 people, and I was asking him, "How are you keeping yourself in check?" And he was saying, "You know what? I'm staying strong for my team, but also I'm getting, like, I've showed them what the priority is, and I've invited them to the table to make contributions. So let them know that you're dealing with something that you've never dealt with, but also assure them that you're going to stick to whatever your priority is going to be. Whether that priority is to make sure that everyone stays with a job, whether that priority is to make sure that everyone is safe, whatever your priority is, bring them on board, engage them, have war rooms, keep in constant, keep meetings, encourage each other. Okay, so that is how you can motivate your team. Okay, Edwin is saying, set up a war room for action plan to give leadership, just as Museven saying it's a war. Yes. Okay. Is a business preservation plan the same as business continuity plan? The business preservation plan is your survival plan, like what you're doing in the next 21 days. Okay, if they push it for the next, after 21 days, they might push it for another 28 days. So you need a preservation plan for you to work during that time of the lockdown. Okay, and the business continuity plan, that is like your rapid response, is to make sure that once this is over, okay, 6 to 18 months, what are you going to do when the lockdown ends, like today? If it ends today, tomorrow, what are you going to do? Okay. Okay. Moses, what should be the priorities for the business leaders to ensure business survival? I think I've partly answered that. Okay. So let me go back to, no, not yet. Now I'm doing the last, I'm going to open up a poll. I'm going to open up a poll. Let me see. We've already passed our time, but give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to open up a poll. The first one is for individuals. There we go. I've published it right now. We'll use about a minute. It says, my personal priority over the next 90 days is, what is your priority as an individual? Okay. And this individual, like I said, could be an employee. It could be you and your family. It could be you as a one-man business. What is your priority in the next 90 days? Is it finding an alternative source of income? Is it doubling your income? Is it save as much money as possible? Okay, this is interesting. This is like watching the election results come in. Give it a couple of seconds. Okay. Interesting. Okay, and I'm going to close the poll right now. So 40% of you are saying your priority right now is to find an alternative source of income, okay? And 28% of you are saying you need to double your income, okay? And 37% of you are looking at savings, okay, in case of a possible escalation. And then 11% of you, you're waiting out for the government. And there's no one who doesn't care about priorities. So, okay, that is interesting. And then the last, let's just take the last poll. This one is in case you own a company, you run a farm, you're into private consulting. Let me start the poll right now. Or you're just part of the company, but I just want to know whether you're aware of all the things. So this is not just for the leaders or the partners, it's for everyone. Let me publish it right now. Okay, there we go. Our personal priority as a farm stroke company should be, what do you think your priority should be over the next 6 to 18 months? Okay, I've opened it up. The poll is open right now. Feel free to, okay. Interesting. What do you think should be your priority as a farm or a company? Is it making sure that no one loses their job, having enough cash to run for the next 16 to 18 months? 6 to 18 months, finding new opportunities for business, or serve the existing clients as you wait for lockdown to end? Okay, I'll give it 3 seconds and then I'll close the poll. Okay, our poll is done right now, and this is quite interesting. It's quite interesting. 28% of you are saying you need to concentrate on having enough cash to sustain you. 57% are saying you need to find business opportunities. Okay, new business opportunities. Now, if you're going to find new business opportunities, you're going to have to embrace a new way of thinking. You're going to have to be diligent and create a team that thinks and evolves the leadership team. Okay. And then 14% of you are saying you're going to your priority should be on serving the existing clients as you wait for the lockdown to end. So I want to thank you so much for being on this call. But before we go, I'd like to make a recap of everything that we've done. We looked at strategies to help the individual and the company to thrive, and we said that the individual is faced with different aspects, and the company or the farm is also faced with different aspects. And right now, they need to take a closer look at having 3 kinds of plans: a survival plan, a rapid response plan, and owning their future. And under those, there are different things that they need to do, and there are different action plans that I suggested. Okay. And also, we addressed the reason why people want to change, but they do not change. And, we put into context what disruption brings, because it forces you to change, and it challenges tradition. So should be aware of those things and take care of them. Now, before we go, I have just a couple of announcements. Number one, part of what I shared will be coming out in a book that I'm writing. I think I'm almost midway through this book now. This book is COVID. Like COVID cannot affect it. It will come out at exactly 11:49 a.m. GMT3 on the 30th of October 2020. Be on the lookout for it. I think I'm sharing a couple of things on the blog for those of you that are on it. And also, for just a limited period of time, we are opening this up for individuals that would like to have a personal rapid response plan, okay, for only $13.9. And for our clients that need a corporate situation analysis, and you can take up that offer of 499. So please, if that's something that you're interested in, just hit me up and let me know what is going on. But other than that, I want to thank you so much for being on the call. And please leave a comment, tell me, give me some feedback how this has been. Would you want to have another like this? And if you want another one, what would you want us to address? So give me just let me know how this has been. If you've liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you've not liked it, just give me a thumbs down, okay? Or let me know whether we should do this again. This is Sudesh saying adios on behalf of everyone here at Sudesh International Consult. Bye bye. Thank you.